Andre Onana was brought in as a playmaker in gloves to transform Manchester United, but it's ended in a failed experiment. We're going to discuss his move, his season-long move to Trabzonspor in Turkey. So get involved as usual in the comments section and get involved in the live chat so we can discuss some of your comments throughout today's video. How did you feel when you heard this news over the weekend?
I was delighted, absolutely delighted, like everybody out there. But I also look at it in a different way. This should have been done at the end of the season. It feels like 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. The men in suits there clearing out people who really came in. Well, in reality, he came into the start of the season asking for more money, and they really should have acted then. But for me, I'm a player who lacked confidence. He was dropped last season, and I think to myself, that was the writing on the wall. But unfortunately, Manchester United had other plans, and then they had to act. They had to act after the Grimsby debacle he performed.
Yeah, he does move to Trabzonspor on a season-long loan, no fee, no option to buy. So are we expecting Andre Onana to return to Manchester United come next summer?
You just don't know with this player. And you just don't know with this club. We hope not. Really, the writing's on the wall. He's out. That's the end of him. Why Trabzonspor came in for him, I do not know. You look at the goalkeeper, and I said no club in the Premier League would want him, never mind the English league. So I'm very surprised that someone's come in so quickly. But I'm also delighted that someone did. I never expected it. And he's going for money, and he wants more money there, which is absolutely baffling why someone would cave into that. But hey, United have got rid of him. Should have got rid of him earlier, but I'm made up.
You look at a time that he come in to replace David De Gea, and he was brought in, like I said earlier on, to transform how Manchester United play out from the back. Do you think there was any excuses for Andre Onana in some of the performances, though, when you look at some of the back line and it was always inconsistent due to injuries, poor performance, so that was always getting changed around, so he was never being able to find any rhythm in there?
Well, you say he never found any rhythm. I thought last season at the start, I thought he played well. But that's the only time he had a consistent performance. He was just poor in management on the pitch. He didn't really talk to the players. So for me, his communication skills were poor. His footballing skills were poor. And I think the players who were in front of him didn't trust him. They knew he was there for a mistake. His shot stopping was poor. And when you think about when they brought him in, David De Gea, he was a good shot stopper, stayed on his line. But Erik ten Hag was determined to change the way United played and brought in a goalkeeper. Really, he knew him from Ajax. He played in the Champions League final. But coming to Manchester United, I didn't see any steady performance, and no one did. Poor goalkeeper overall. But what baffled me most was Manchester United were determined to keep him. They were determined to keep him.
I mean, this summer?
This summer, yeah. They were determined to keep him for this season. But they had to act. Listen, them men in suits at half-time at Grimsby just looked at each other and just said, right, no matter what, regardless of anything, what we think or anything, he's got to go. And then they just pulled the trigger on Le Mans. That was going too slow for me. It didn't look as though it was going to happen, and they were hoping, as I see it, that he put in a good performance. But to be honest with you, you put in a goalkeeper against Grimsby, and it was a goalkeeper who needed glasses.
Yeah, and you've got to look at it as well. I think it was back in July of this summer. I did see reports from The Athletic, and it does back up what you say, where he's giving Andre Onana assurances that he actually would be the #1 going into this season. But then we've seen him dropped, and it was Bayinde who was in the sticks against Arsenal. So something around the backroom scene must have changed then, surely.
Well, it's an attitude thing, isn't it? You know, you look at it, poor season last year by the club, finishing 15th, losing the Europa League final. And you say to yourself, well, you've got to come into training first day and say, right, I'm determined to play football. He came in and United confirmed it. They dropped the message to reporters saying he walked in there and he asked for more money. that's a totally bad attitude. As soon as he said that, they should have said, right, you're on the transfer list. We don't want players like that. We've put players out for transfers who have got a bad attitude, who are only there for money. And that was clearly a bad mistake. And they should have changed their mind there and then. And they didn't. And we ended up scrambling. And I mean scrambling for a new goalkeeper, because that was going by the wayside. They were hoping, this is how I see it, they were hoping he would turn in a good performance against Grimsby, and then that would have gave people who wanted him to stay the reassurance, yes, he can do it. But it was Grimsby, and it was one of the poorest performances you ever seen.
I think when United first signed Onana, I don't know about yous out there, but I was really excited about it. You know, this new goalkeeper, you know, he was very comfortable with the ball at his feet, seeing a new way of playing football from a goalkeeper, but it never worked out that way. And I always remember on his first pre-season tour in America, and I think you might remember it out there on one of the games, I don't know if it was Borussia Dortmund or not, where he come running out of his box screaming at Harry Maguire. And I remember it being a big talking point of that actual match, because people were looking at it thinking, we've actually got a goalkeeper who looks like he can command a box, actually bark and shout orders, just like the old school Peter Schmeichel used to do, but it's just ended in a totally different way.
Well, he was determined to change tactics and everything, and he looked suited to it, ball playing. That's how Erik ten Hag wanted it, and that's how the men in suits at the time wanted it. In he comes, footballer, out he goes, commanding his box. That's what it looked like. It looked like we had the goalkeeper, and then it just all, now and again in that first season, mistake, then another mistake, and we were sort of, oh, it's the first year, don't worry about it, do you know what I mean? And then at the start of the season last year, played well, and we thought, aye, he's turned it round, first year jitters, but then the jitters just got worse.
Yeah, Cameron says as well, and he's just reminded me, he was chipped from the halfway line at OT debut. We should have known then. And I think that was it against Lens from France, that game?
I remember the goal, I just can't remember who it was. But hey, you know, all goalkeepers have been caught out at some point, but the writing was on the wall for a lot of people that day. So for me, I just look at it and I say to myself, it's an Onana. It was an experiment. What went wrong? I did like the clips, what I seen, and that's probably one of the reasons why I don't look at clips anymore. Right?
It's taught us all a lesson.
Yeah, I think it has taught us all a lesson. Right? And this goalkeeper, what we've seen, I've not seen anything of him. So I just look at it and then fingers crossed that this isn't an experiment, that we're bringing in a goalkeeper and he does the business. How good he is, only time will tell on that. But for me, Onana, definitely an experiment, what went wrong, because the players in front of him were having to sort of change the way they played to suit Onana. And then over time, what you did, you seen Onana stop playing the football. And that was because of confidence. And when Onana was dropped last year, this is how I seen it, when he was dropped because of lack of confidence, the club should have made the decision there and then, as if to say, out he goes. Once you lose your confidence as a goalkeeper, you never, it's very rare that you ever see a goalkeeper come back, especially in the toughest league in the world.
Yeah, I do remember when you're saying he was dropped last season, 2 errors in the first leg away to Lyon in the Europa League, and he was dropped for the following game, which I think it was the Newcastle game. Bayinde come in, but again, he looked shaky. I think one of the goals he tried to play out from the back, Newcastle got onto it and scored from it, and I think he played in the last home game of the season as well, Bayinde against Aston Villa. He come out to claim what was just a simple ball, and he fumbled it, didn't he? But luckily the referee blew up, whereas if he didn't, it'd have gone to VAR, wouldn't it, and been actually stood as a goal, which he should have done.
Yeah, well, you look at Bayinde. I mean, we went to Tottenham, me and Kieran's son, and we looked at that game and we looked at Bayinde's performance. He's not even good enough for second goalkeeper. Yeah. Mistake after mistake, doesn't matter what game. So they put him back in for the final, Onana. You know, and you just look at it. I don't understand the indecision about the goalkeeper, why they never made it. And they've scrambled now, brought in a goalkeeper, and they've managed to get rid of him. You know, like I said before, 2 steps forward, 1 step back with the men in suits. They seem to be making decisions, looks all right, and then indecision. You can't have indecision on a goalkeeper. He has to be top notch, and clearly Onana wasn't. And I was always concerned that United were willing to keep him. I always said they were willing to keep him for this year and hope that Ruben Amorim turned him round. But that was a bad policy.
Better late than never, as some people might say. At least they've acted and they've got a new goalkeeper in. Still remains to be seen how good Le Mans is and if he can be that regular number one, or is he going to be competing with Bayinde for that number one spot? I mean, let me know what you think out there, but do you think Bayinde will be in goal for the derby on the weekend?
Absolutely not, in my opinion. Bayinde should start a game. Le Mans, he's in. There's no two ways about it. We know what Bayinde does. Makes mistakes.
Yeah.
You just said it there last season when Onana was out because he'd lost confidence. Absolutely. Poor goalkeeper as a number two. And at the end of the day, we're changing here. We've got a defence what's working hard together, turning it around, a lot better communication and everything. So this goalkeeper, Le Mans, he has to step up, get in with these players and get a relationship going. There is no relationship with Bayinde. No relationship at all. He's a goalkeeper, what puts on his gloves in an emergency when the other goalkeeper fails in Onana. He steps forward and no one's got any confidence in him at all because there's a mistake after mistake after mistake. So he's a number two goalkeeper who's going to step in and everyone's just going to be biting the nails when he does get in the sticks because of one reason or another.
Obviously, Manchester United have accepted it from Trabzonspor. He's accepted the contract as well, Andre Onana, and we're just waiting for him to leave now and travel to Turkey. But we just touched on it before and it come into my head that would it actually surprise you if we're seeing an Andre Onana come back before January? I mean, is there any clauses in the contract where he's got to stay at Trabzonspor for the whole season? Because it wouldn't surprise me, especially when the wages are being covered, if they sent him back, if he was to continue them performances that we've seen in the United shirt. Well,
if United haven't got it secure that he's there for the full season, then it just shows you how desperate they were just to get him out. Maybe for a bit of PR, but not to nail it on that he's there for the season and they pay his wages and everything. It just shows you how desperate it is. I've got no details of what's going on, his contract or the negotiations, what have gone on. If you have out there, then just let us know. But for me, he has to stay there for the season. Can't be coming back. Why Trabzonspor have made the decision to have him, I'm absolutely baffled. But I'll be more baffled if he ends up coming back this season. But I can't see who's going to buy him, to be honest with you. And that is the problem going forward. He has to perform over there. It's when you compare it to the Premier League, it's of nowhere near the same standard. So you've got to say to yourself, will United get any money for him? Because clearly they will be looking to sell him as quickly as possible, maybe in the January transfer window or next summer. But they have to get him out. And will they get any money for him? You know, I look at his performances, and when I say, and fans out there say, they don't know anyone what would buy him. They don't know anyone what would buy him. So what is his transfer value? What was it? He cost 47 million with add-ons?
Add-ons included. I think it was £43.5 million. Add-ons included. You're looking at roughly £47 million altogether.
Yeah, well, you've got to look round and you've got to look at his performances. There is no value in him. No value whatsoever. And I've been surprised that United have got any value out of some of the players like Anthony. I didn't think they'd get any value, but clearly Onana has to go down as one of the worst goalkeepers you've ever seen. So who would buy him and pay him? And all he wants is more money, and he seems to be getting that on his travels now.
Yeah, he actually will be coming out with more money based on like the tax over in Turkey. And I think Manchester United end up saving as well. I think it's at 3.4 or £3.5 million for the duration as well of that season-long loan. So,
well, they saved the money by getting him out. It didn't look as though anyone would take him, to be honest with you. So that's where they saved the money. And then you've just got to factor in, we've got a goalkeeper in, so his wages will be going to him. So for me, it's all about money with Onana. Bad attitude on the pitch, lazy. And when you look at the Grimsby game, I'll use that as an example. That first goal, goalkeeper dives to his right. He didn't even dive to his right. Didn't get down quick enough. Just not sharp. But you've seen that over last year, especially how he let goals in, diving on the floor. A goalkeeper doesn't dive proper, doesn't get to the floor, no reaction. So for me, you're really, really going to struggle to get him off the books. So we might end up having to just give him away, to be honest with you, or loan him out again based on his performance this year. Someone might take him.
A lot of people getting involved as well that they can't actually believe a return to pre-season training in the summer and actually ask for that pay rise as well. And I think that was a big kick in the teeth for a lot of Manchester United fans based on his performances last season, the season before as well, where he cost us games, cost us points last season, Andre Onana. He wasn't the only one, but he was a big factor in that.
Well, I don't understand the men in suits in the club. When they've ripped this club apart, they've done the penny pinching, you know, they've sacked loads of people, they've cut people off, they've stopped paying out on certain things and that, certain things what have annoyed United fans, understandably. Then they've done with the season tickets and everything. So when you look at all the penny pinching, and this player walks into the club with an attitude, right, when they've just put 5 people up for transfer who've all got bad attitudes, and they're still thinking, which was confirmed by the Athletic, as you said, of keeping him for this season. I don't understand that. That's a bad egg still there. So for me, they've acted very late on it when they should have acted it, and it's poor by the club, to be honest with you. You know, if you're clearing the decks, then do it. And for a player to walk in there, that tells you straight away it's a bad egg. It's just like, where's his head at? Well, his head clearly wasn't on Manchester United and performing better, because when you look at his performances, right, it actually got worse. And I never thought they could get worse.
What do you feel about Le Mans now, though, coming in? You know, the #1 goalkeeper in Andre Onana has been put out on a season-long loan. Do you think that adds any more pressure on him?
There's pressure on the goalkeeper, definitely. There's pressure on every player at Manchester United to perform in every game, okay? But the reality of this is you could have just gone anywhere, in my opinion, and brought in an average goalkeeper, and that average goalkeeper would have been 10 times better than Onana and better than Bayindi. That's how I look at it. The goalkeeping situation at Manchester United has been dire for the last couple of years, and the backup goalkeeper has been poor. And United should have dealt with it this summer, and they haven't. You knew there was a problem when they signed Tom Heaton for another year. That to me left me scratching my head. But hey, you know, they'll have to do with it, and it's step by step, right? But this is a big misstep, and it should have been dealt with, because if you want confidence in your team, you start at the back.
Yeah, you've also got to look at it, though, not just goalkeepers, outfield players at Manchester United as well. We've bought them because they've been good at the previous teams. That's the reason why we've bought them. But with like Andre Onana, it's just gone from one mistake to another, and it's never picked up from there. So you're just looking at the new goalkeeper. Really, he needs to start off bright, start off well, and do the basics right.
That's fingers crossed. That's that word again. Hope this, hope that. And that's all you can do. Hope. Well, he's got to hope that he doesn't get steamrolled at City, because it's quite easily done. But he has to go in. People say, oh, he needs time to settle in and all that. No, that's a bad mistake. He's a goalkeeper. Get him in there. Any goalkeeper besides Onana and Bayindi, as far as I'm concerned, right, straight in. And you cannot ask for more confidence than a player to be brought to the club to be put straight in, and especially with a game at Manchester City. You want him to feel the pressure. You will look at him and think he can handle the pressure. Yeah, he might concede goals, okay, but you want him there, right, and you want him standing up, and you want him to perform. And from there onwards, if you see that, then you've got a goalkeeper.
Yeah, because we've already seen this season, don't get it wrong, you know, being a goalkeeper, it's been poor from Bayinde, what we've seen. But his distribution, actually with the ball at his feet, has not been too bad. And I've noticed improvements this season from Amorim, the back three as well, collecting the ball off the goalkeeper, beating the press from the opposition, so that he will have to get used to that in training, in the actual tactics they're actually employing in games.
Yeah, well, my concern with the goalkeeper is United ended up scrambling to get him. So is there some doubt that he is a top goalkeeper? This is from officials in the club, because the conversation was there for a while and then it went quiet. And then when Onana performed like he did after Grimsby, United just went, right, go and get him.
Yeah, just throw
Go and get him. So I have a suspicion, right, they were going to let it lapse, the conversation, and go for him. But he has to perform. How good he is, we'll soon find out. But you can't judge him, definitely can't judge him on the first game, because any player's first game, right, is they start with some nerves, but you've just got to hope that the nerves calm down straight away. One good shot stopping moment early on in the game will do him the world of good.
Fred Crantham has gifted 5 memberships. The 5 people have been gifted their memberships. A big thank you to Fred, the Red, the legend. And there's a lot of people also talking about Sesko now in the live chat. You know, I'm a bit 50-50 on whether he'll start in the Manchester derby, to be honest with you, especially if Cunha and Mason Mount are fit for that game. But what do you think?
Sesko's got to start. He's got to start. He's been here long enough now. He's got used to Manchester. He's got used to the routine. He'll have stepped up his training. He's been playing football. So for me, is the striker. We got rid of a striker, okay? We brought one in to replace him. Now, Oyland played football, regular. So he's straight in as far as I'm concerned. I don't want this experiment to keep going on. About playing a false 9. The false 9 for me sometimes was played out of desperation. So Sesko's in, and you talk about confidence. What a great game to go in, start your first Premier League game, right, and smash City and put the ball in the back of the net. That's what you want. And at the other end, you want the goalkeeper. What you want is him saving a penalty and saving a last-minute header from Ireland. That's what you want, and then we'll all be happy, and the season can just bounce along.
Digger has gifted 10 memberships, absolute legend. There's 10 people who've been gifted their memberships. A big thank you to Digger. And I've noticed a lot of United fans, not just who we speak to, but a lot online and on our community pages. There's a lot of confidence going into this City game that we can actually beat him, or we will beat him, shall I say. Yeah,
well, you look at the City game, especially the one at Old Trafford last season, absolutely dour. Poor. That wasn't a Manchester derby. There was no fight, no nothing. Sort of like went along, and City were in change.
Bit of a training game, wasn't it? About that sort of feel to it,
yeah,
wasn't it? Slow tempo.
Yeah, it was a poor game. There was no excitement or anything. But then you look at City's start, and I think that's what's give United fans a bit of confidence looking into it. Yes, some people are sort of thinking goalkeeper and centre forward, you know, that might not work. Do you know what I mean? First game, first start. But you look at City, and they are going through a change, and it's not working at the moment. It's not clicking. So there's an opportunity, and that's why Sesko should play. We need to put pressure. He needs to be on the pitch to put pressure up front instead of like trying to hold out in the midfield and stop City playing football. They're not in full rhythm. Let's hope I don't eat me words and they turn around and they are in full rhythm and they're back to normal. But there's something wrong at City. Yes, there's definitely something wrong at United. We know that. And we're going to try and put it together. And there's no way they're going to sort of like hide at City. They're there, the manager's there, and he will push him to fight, run, and go at him. I don't think they'll play a defensive game. That's why I think Sesko will be on the pitch. We need someone. We need someone.
We need that focal point, the focus. Is
we need someone to hold it.
Yeah, he did say after the Arsenal game, even though we got beat 1-0, he said that if we do play like that, we can match anyone in the Premier League then on our day. And we're going to need that sort of performance, that high intensity from the outfield players, aren't we?
Yeah, not just the outfield players, the goalkeeper. If you look at that Arsenal game, why did we lose? Why did we lose? You know, some people might say I'm being too harsh on Bayindi, but we lost the game because of him. Absolutely lost him. And how many times have you seen him make that same mistake? So we lost against Arsenal. Just look where we'd be now. We'd have 5 points. Okay. Arsenal, if they hadn't scored that goal, would we have beat them? Would we have been able to like get in there? Because they would have been forced to come out.
Well, you look at it,
who knows?
You look at it as well. I think we should have had a penalty late on in that game as well. Foul on Cunha in the box. I think it was around about the 88th minute.
Yeah, but the thing is, the diabolical mistake was made again. Yeah. And Onana made plenty of them, and so did Bayindi. So for me, our goalkeeper and Sesko at City are vital. And I've just got sometimes I get it in my stomach, like a funny feeling, and as if to say, yeah, I'm going to go against what everyone thinks, like, and I've done it before and it's worked. But then again, I've done it loads of times and it's not worked. So, hey, but that's football fans for you. I just feel as though something is going to happen, something big at the City game. And I just can't wait for it, especially with the new goalkeeper. I want to see him stand up and be confident, because we've not seen that from a goalkeeper for a long time.
Don't get me wrong, results matter. It's clear as day with that, and that's what keeps managers in a job, or it also makes them get sacked. But I get a sense, though, with the Manchester United fans this season, there's more of a focus as well, that they want to see improvement with the playing style and actual team performances compared to what we've seen last season, and that's a focus among some Manchester United fans.
Yeah, there's been a lot of noise from fans. I've been disappointed. You've been disappointed, because we expected United to be in the rhythm straight away, and they weren't. Especially, like, you look at the Arsenal game, they were in the rhythm. They were playing football. They were playing fast football. They were playing fighting back when they lost the ball and everything. And then that sort of disintegrated, especially in the second half against Fulham. So we've not got off to the greatest start as fans expected, because the football has been indifferent. But for me, I think we've got over it now, and I think it's a clear path. You've got City, you've got Chelsea, we've got a goalkeeper. Let's hope he's got the confidence for it. And I think Sesko will take us far. So for me, I think we're on a different path here now. I think the Ruben Amorim and the coaches and everyone at the club now have a clear plan. Away we go. This is how we're going to play. And I think you'll see more of an attacking Manchester United, and what you want to see. And like you had last year, plenty of chances in games, couldn't put them away. Same again this year, but I think that's going to change, because I think everyone in the team is determined, and that's what you want to see, determined to put things right than what happened last year.
I mean, I don't overly rely on stats. I go more on the eye test, which I think a lot of you do out there, but the stats in an attacking sense are a lot better than what I thought they would be at the start of this season. I mean, you look at the total shots on goal, we ranked first in the Premier League with 55. Expected goals, we ranked first, 6.8. Shots on target per game, we ranked fourth, 5.3. Touches in the opposition box, again, we ranked first. Crosses and accurate ones, we ranked first.
Yeah, but what you do is, a lot of people do look at stats. I don't look at stats, very rarely do I. I go on the eye test, and what I've seen is an erratic Manchester United. So the stats don't come into it. And like I say, the perception from United, especially with a good pre-season, what we had, we thought we'd be on the front foot, and then that would go for it. I was hoping first 3 league games, get 9 points. And to be honest with you, I'm very, very disappointed, because there was an opportunity there at Fulham to do it, especially after the performance. So 6 points for me, that's what I expected after getting beat by Arsenal. But then I was disappointed that we got beat by Arsenal. We should have picked up minimum a point, and really, like Kieron says, a penalty. So the eye test, you're looking at the football, it's been erratic. I think things will settle down now, especially when you see what's happened in the club.
Sorry, you mentioned that twice. Erratic in what way?
Well, look at the Fulham game. That's what I'm saying. You have one performance against Arsenal, and then you have another performance against Fulham. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I get it. Then erratic. I would then choose a word like control. Manchester United still can't control games for large periods, and especially control the game and see it out when we're in a winning position. Then if you look at the Fulham game, but that does then tend to come from the centre of midfield. You know, that age-old saying, if you control the midfield, you've got a high chance of actually winning the game then.
I don't know. I just look at it as erratic. You can say, oh, the midfield this or that. Do you know what I mean? It was erratic. Bruno's behaviour after missing the pen was erratic. Erratic.
Yeah.
And that attitude went in at half-time, and it came out at half-time erratic. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's how I look at it. Some people might disagree. Some people, like Kieron says, well, I think it was control of the midfield and the back four or something like that. Mm-hmm. No, it was erratic. It was like last year.
I do get that. But as we know, Amorim did want to bring in at least a ball-playing midfielder in the summer, and we've not managed to get that. But I think a lot of us out there were realistic going into this transfer window and thinking it wouldn't all be solved in one window, but I think they've done a good job, not with just getting players in, most importantly, getting the deadwood out. I think it's probably one of our best, if not the best, in living memory for me.
Every Manchester United fan in the world wanted a new midfield player brought in. Every Man United fan knew that. Every Man United fan, right, could see all last year, maybe even the year before, that teams were running right through us, especially at Old Trafford here. Especially at Old Trafford, because once United sort of moved forward, the gaps was there. So, yes, a midfielder wanted in, but what you've got is what we've got. It's as simple as that, and it's one step at a time. Maybe they couldn't afford the top quality player. They didn't have the money. They went for the strikers first, and then, as we was all told, sell to buy. And that didn't happen. And when it did happen, it was too late. So getting money in, and then money next year, like say for Hoyland, then it all happened too late. Got the 3 players in, and then we couldn't go out there and break the bank, as they say.
What's your hopes like, or your thoughts going even into the January transfer window? Do you think they'll look to put the toe in the water and maybe get 1 or 2 players? You know, we did do last January, Dorgu and Heaven.
Well, I look at reality. When do we go out there? Very, very rare have we ever gone out there and in January and bought top-class players. Very rare, okay? It's like...
Bruno Fernandes, that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe Luis Saha.
Very, very rare. Very rare. So for me, it's not going to happen, especially with the money situation. I think next summer will be the time to go back in the market. But, hey, that won't stop people speculating out there, will it?
No, just going to go into the chat. Ray Carl Brown, thanks for your super chat, mate.
Thank you.
Onana should have been long gone time ago. Now let's see if we can get any better now.
Yeah, Onana should have gone a long time ago. But for some reason, which needs explaining, why they had the intention of keeping him. Such a poor goalkeeper. So that really sort of big misstep. And I don't understand that. I always thought, from what United were saying, they were going to keep him, but I couldn't see any reason why they were going to keep him. This is Manchester United. You need a top goalkeeper. His confidence had gone. The players' confidence in the goalkeeper had gone. You could clearly see it. And every fan had nothing good to say about Onana. So I don't understand from 6 months ago why they thought it was in the best interests of Manchester United to keep Onana for another year and not bring in a specialist goalkeeper to replace him, because Onana, confidence was shot, couldn't play football, couldn't dive, could hardly punch a ball, and always got caught on corners and conceded goals. Made no sense whatsoever. And these people are running the biggest football club in the world when every United fan round the world could see he needed to go. But hey, is anyone going to explain that to us? I very much doubt it.
People getting involved with January buys in the past, mentioning Vidic, Evra, even Bruce and Pallister, I think, was mentioned in there as well. But anything to add, though, before we wrap it up?
Well, there's not many people in the last 10 years been bought in January from that list, what I've just heard.
Yeah, in terms of, like,
well,
recent...
I'm just saying, this is a different world now.
Yeah.
This isn't Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
Okay, this isn't where money was like all over the place because we was winning the league every year or every other year and winning cups and everything else like that. You know, money, just spend it. Don't worry, it's Sir Alex. He knows what he's doing, right? But in the last 10 years, really, quality players been brought in January? Well, it's for you to tell me because I can't think of one.
Yeah, don't get wrong. I don't think it was brought in January. It was in the summertime. But for some reason, Gabriel Obertan and me and you, when we was watching United away at West Brom, do you remember that?
I remember it.
You do, don't you?
Yeah, but January players...
remember what we was thinking and saying. Look, and then we come out at half-time.
look, let's go back to January transfers. God. People are out there, they're going to talk about transfers. We need this in, we need that in, right? We'll go back. We brought in people like Igalo, okay? That's what's going to happen in January, right? A little fix-it here. Someone to put in place to challenge someone like, say, for instance, Dorgu, because Dorgu needs someone there to push him to keep his place, because Dorgu's not had the greatest of starts. All right? I'm not going against him. Still a young lad, and he has played the majority of the games in that position, but he needs someone to push him And that's what everyone in the team needs. So January, you might see a transfer like that, a loan deal or something like that, and then they'll go for the big hit in the summer next year. Plus, we will also get rid of people next year. Okay, what are surplus to requirements, or some players who might want to already, who might already be lining up to move next summer after the World Cup.
Antel, thanks for your super chat, mate.
Thank you.
Just be patient and support the team, GGMU. Just like to thank you all for joining us today, getting involved in the chat. I think there's a lot of happy faces, though, on this Monday morning, hearing that news.
Makes a change, doesn't it?
And Andre Onana moving to Trabzonspor for a season-long loan in Turkey. Will we see him, though, before that season ends? Will Trabzonspor send him back? Or will he have a good season? And would that change your mind on Andre Onana's future career, if possible, at Manchester United? But smash that like button, as always, to help support the channel. Subscribe as well, and also get that notification on, because we'll see you tomorrow for another live video. Take care, everyone.